Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. Call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakaha Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The 144,000 and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen that look like the heathen. This is not a black thing. Revelation 7:9. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with a quick lesson in truth. And I was just watching a bunch of videos. Once again, I'm out here in my favorite park, taking it in. It was an army of little people out here from the school across the street. They all went back. So now it's nice and quiet out here. Time for me to do this lesson before I go teach the evening classes. But I watched a couple different videos. Fauci had the title Dr. Fauci, you know. And remember, the word doctor itself, you can look it up for yourself. I have. But the word doctor literally means to falsify. You know, you ever heard the phrase when someone says they're gonna doctor something up? All right, it literally means to falsify. And he did a lot of that, and we're gonna play the evidence of it. You know, we're gonna forward, you know, the receipts, because there's what's that scripture? Habakkuk 2:16, I believe. Shameful spewing upon their glory, because he was walking around here like a little Napoleon, commanding general of the world. And now he's crying and how he needs protection, and he's getting death threats. He caused the death of millions, man. Millions of people died because of this guy. And his handlers. Right? It wasn't just him. But this is Habakkuk 2:16, and it reads, Thou art filled with shameful glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory. And he was very proud of all his scientific lies and all the things that he did to, you know, all these words that he would use to twist the truth and hide the truth from the people. When the men of the Lord and those that are awakened saw right through it out the gate. All right? You know, this whole gain of function, and it made no sense to me. All right? You know, why would anyone work on a disease, you know, a virus, and give it a function where it can jump from one species to another unless they intend to infect someone else or you know, infect another species? What else would be the purpose of that? And you know, it should be illegal to even do so. But that was my take on the whole thing. It's like, well, obviously, if you're giving something gain of function, you're giving something the ability to jump from the grass to the trees, you know, from the birds to the dogs. Now we got a problem, and eventually to people, which is where we are now. So it would seem that gain of function research has not stopped with Fauci, even though he's on a hot seat right now. So let's play these videos. This is the Claytons. I forget the husband's name and his wife Natalie. But let's let a bit of this video play. I'll probably play about 4 or 5 minutes of it.
Like that, we can talk about maybe someone whose mother was killed by their father because of domestic abuse. We can bring all manner of. Go ahead.
Well, when the hearing started,
yeah, there was a lot of domestic abuse that went on during the lockdowns and things of that nature.
and yelled out, "You killed my father."
Right. We don't know exactly how that happened, but I'm sure, yeah, we can find copious
Well,
examples
his father probably
of how
took,
his
you know
non-scientific
what.
policy hurt people. We're going to have more on this as we continue to go through it throughout the week, but we wanted to bring you the highlights. Also, we'll get more between Senator Paul, and you know there is no love lost between those two.
So all these people that made those heinous and vicious comments toward the people who didn't do the Pokemon, the people who didn't do it, they really owe them an apology. People lost work, they lost jobs, they lost opportunities, friends, and it turns out that it was all a fucking lie. And the people who took the Pokemon are in worse shape health-wise than the people who didn't.
Because of the famous Senator Paul, you do not know what you're talking about. That clip didn't age well because at the time he was saying there was never any gain of function, you don't know what it is, we never did anything like it. Or here's Senator...
And I do remember that when they were going back and forth, they were going at it. He told Senator Rand Paul, who's also a doctor, if I'm not mistaken, that he didn't know what he was talking about. And it turns out that the senator was dead on.
Paul basically cracking his knuckles because he's going to get to ask Fauci questions today.
So Dr. Fauci is going to be testifying tomorrow. What are you expecting?
Our investigation has confirmed that he did indeed lie. He committed a felony. He said that they did not fund, that the NIH did not fund gain-of-function, dangerous research.
So why isn't he in and out of court facing felony charges? All right, this man committed crimes against humanity. That's what it appears to be. Why is he not being brought up on these charges?
China. We now know that to be untrue. We know he committed a felony.
Let's go back.
We've discovered.
Well, because at the time he was saying there was never any gain of function, you don't know what it is, we never did anything like it. Or here's Senator Paul basically cracking his knuckles because he's going to get to ask Fauci questions today.
So Dr. Fauci is going to be testifying tomorrow. What are you expecting?
Our investigation has confirmed that he did indeed lie. He committed a felony. He said that they did not fund, that the NIH did not fund gain-of-function, dangerous research in China. We now know that to be untrue. We know he committed a felony. But what we've discovered now is that there was a massive cover-up from the very beginning. There was a behind-the-scenes effort to change the opinion of people. Many of the Fauci colleagues all believed that the virus did come from the lab. Their opinions were all changed, but then all evidence was then covered up. They began using burner phones. They began using couriers. They said,
how you doing, brother?
Things electronically. I can take
Once
things
again, you did a great job.
House. It sounds more like the CIA than the NIH, but it's unbelievable the amount of things that went on.
That's the Jake that's responsible for all the flowers and the green life out here.
Emails. I think we're safe now. What in the world would they actually mean by we think we're safe now? So there was a massive cover-up, and there's so many people that need to be interviewed in addition to Fauci. We have David Lorenz, who worked for him for 20 years. We have the FOIA lady, the woman, the IT woman at NIH, who was explaining to them how to avoid FOIA and how to break the law. She needs to be deposed. There's all kinds of stones that can be unturned, but ultimately the buck stops with Anthony Fauci, who's in charge of the place.
So
he has the responsibility not only for the cover-up, but also
not only for the cover-up. So they covered up the fact that there was gain of function, which means that this virus spread, and as they say, it kills millions, and it killed millions because of the gain of function ability that it was given. So why isn't this man and everyone who was involved, the WHO and whoever else, whatever individuals and organizations were involved with this, all should be basically sitting in chains and in courthouses and in prisons, according to the information that I just heard. But I don't know what that word deposed means, so I'm going to look it up. Oh, inclined or willing, disposed to her proposals. All right, so she was willing to help Fauci to cover up and to help Fauci with the gain of function. So it seems. So this seems like a whole lot of people lost businesses and lives were destroyed, and he's complaining about getting death threats when people lost their lives, both from the injuries from the Pokemon and from the gain of function disease that it seems that he and his team spread. All right, and why is this being downplayed and not talked about more? They're just moving on to the next to the next slide. But let's get into some scriptures. And this is 1 Timothy is 6:20. Nope. It's 2 Timothy 6:20. Hold on. Yeah, it is. I hit the wrong. But yeah, this is 1 Timothy 6:20, and it reads, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called. Trust the science, trust the science, trust the science. But this wasn't, this was science falsely so called. Clearly. Because the word science literally means to know. All right, if you have to add theory and guesses and all these other things to it, and and use all these expand upon your great grand scientific terminologies and vocabulary, just to try to get a point across, and hide behind words that the average person has no clue of what you're talking about, and talking in circles, and that seems to be exactly what happened. Okay, and the nation is still divided on this point. Pull up a couple videos that were sent to me on TikTok. This is Senator Kennedy, and he said that Biden too, but Biden and Fauci are like fungus. That's what he says. But so you got a president that's doing nothing to help his people, and you have a scientist that did everything to hurt his people, and then there's no justice being served as a result. But here we go.
Okay, I want you to listen up. Here's the drill. President Biden is in trouble politically. He's polling right up there with fungal infections. Okay, I want you to listen up. Here's the drill. President Biden is in trouble politically. He's polling right up there with fungal infections.
Hold on, and the guy behind him was trying to not. That wasn't the one. This is the one. The full speech. Well, some of it. That guy behind him lost it. That was pretty funny though. But here we go.
Okay, I want you to listen up. Here's the drill. President Biden is in trouble politically. He's polling right up there with fungal infections. Part of the reason for that is that he gave in to the lean wing of his party, and he dissolved the southern border. Now, 5 months before an election, he has to appear to be willing to do something about it. Hence this executive order. And And he expects you to report this epiphany that he has had. Take what the White House is telling you, balance it on your noses like trained seals, and report it uncritically. For 3 years, we have watched President Biden push on a door that has been clearly marked for.
Damn. Said you've watched him for all these years, you know, push on the door that's marked pull. And that sounds about right. This is great division, man. Let me play this next clip with Marjorie Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene responds to those who said Republicans worship a felon.
Democrats worship George Floyd. There were riots burning down the fucking country over George Floyd. And Rasmussen, they're saying we worship him. Excuse me.
Now, wait a second. Let me make it clear. She said that she was told that that Republicans worship Trump. She said Democrats worship a felon. They worship George Floyd, which was pretty quick. The woman is quick on her feet to throw that back in their faces. And then she talked about BLM and Antifa. Well, let me remind you, every time someone brings it up, BLM is a white organization with a black name. All right, it has nothing to do with black people. It's not furthering so-called black people. It's not helping their communities or anything to that nature. All right. Since the time I've heard BLM, I've seen one sign in an area where so-called black people live that actually said BLM in it. But where I am now in Wicker Park, there are signs all throughout this neighborhood, and this is a majority white neighborhood. BLM is a white organization with a black name, so that when they go out and do their dirt, for political reasons, it is blamed on, well, the name is BLM. All right? So let's take this back.
Taylor Greene responds to those who said Republicans worship a felon.
Democrats worship George Floyd. There were riots burning down the fucking country over George Floyd. And Rasmussen, they're saying we worship him. Excuse me, let me correct you, and this is really important. I don't worship, I worship God. God. And Jesus is my savior. I don't worship President Trump. And I'm really sick and tired of the bullshit annex I have to deal with constantly from the Democrats. So that's what we just went through in there. And then they're sitting there, they can attack my character all day long. What's his face in there? Whoever was talking last was calling me insane. But yet we can't say, oh, they're attacking my character. Oh no, it's non-stop BS and annex. You want to know why? The Democrats don't have anything. They're responsible for the lockdowns, forced vaccinations, kids being forced to stay home, people committing suicide, and all the horrors that this country lived through during COVID. Fauci belongs in prison. He should be tried for mass murder, and he should be tried for crimes against humanity.
I agree with her 100%. All right, because not only the deaths from the gain of function research, given this disease, its gain of function, but also the injuries from the vaccine itself, all the deaths that came from that they keep trying to downplay.
How I feel after that hearing. That's how the American people.
Marjorie Taylor Greene responds to those who said Republicans worship a felon.
Democrats worship George Floyd. There were riots burning down the fucking country over George Floyd.
So that was a point on that. All right. So yet again, we're going to bring out scriptures that have already come out. But then this is a time that we're in. The Spirit of the Lord is the spirit of prophecy, something that IUIC is not doing. All they can do is, do the electric slide across the Masonic floor and cast slander upon men who actually do the work of the Lord. All right, who's going to burn America down? Why are you trying to build a community in a place that the Lord is going to destroy? That is not, the Lord didn't send us to build up. We're going to build up Israel when we get put back in it. All right? So what I don't know what these guys are talking about. Okay? But once again, let's go to Mark. This prophecy is walking off the pages. Mark 3 and 23. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against Satan and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. And Satan is against himself. The left is against the right. You have to remember the Democrats and the Republicans are two wings on the same hateful bird. And now that bird is starting to attack itself. All right? That's what's happening. And not only here, but abroad. Division within EU and NATO, and then division between the West and NATO and EU. There are rifts. So we're witnessing the downfall of this man. All right, he's in trouble because it is the end of his time. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 6 verses 7. Well, we can start at 6. Yeah, 6 through 8. And it reads, then I considered these things, and they were all made through me alone and through none other. By me also shall they be ended, and by none other. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting of sunder of times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And that's where we are. All right, we're at the end of Esau's world. It is falling, it's collapsing. Literally, as I speak, as these children walk by. All right, so with that, we're going to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash, Kwam Yasharallah, Abad Babal.